Good morning, everyone. All right, so yesterday, somewhat surprising, the dip was bought. No one cared I shouldn't say no one cared about the U.S. deficit, but the markets kind of just brushed it off. I guess they're just used to this happening. I mentioned yesterday it's happened before, and I guess it'll happen again. As politicians just flip-flopping, and we'll see where it goes in the future. In any event, is it sustainable in the short term? No, no. Why I say that? Because sentiment has reached such an extreme that historically we know that things are going to correct. And to some degree, they've already been correcting by going sideways. So as we look at different charts, we see how they're reacting to what's happening, what they tell us. And so with the NASDAQ futures here, we have another correction bar. And that's a bar that it's a bottoming tail bar that breaks a prior low, sometimes two lows. And so the dip, as it went down, you see things recovered and got back to the high of the day. So there are many setups similar to this. And so the question now is, does it take out the high? And this morning, things are pretty um, quiet. I thought based on yesterday's price action, maybe they'd be gapping up or going. Is this a gift? They're not doing anything today and they're just going to trade through the high of that correction bar and then continue higher because this is what this pattern suggests is that it's going to go higher. What it also tells us when a bar like this, and you apply this to it, anything, um, is that it shouldn't go back down below that low. That bar, that single bar gives us a line in the sand that shouldn't be violated in the short term. When will it be violated? We'll all find out together. Maybe Thursday when economic news comes out or someone says something. It's just been a news driven market. So when we get correction bars, um, like this bar right there, this one's a bit different because this is where the move started, right? Whereas this one, it's been moving up for a while and short term extended, that accelerated move that happened last week. Um, so whenever we get a wide range bar like that or a gap down reversal bar, on a short term basis, you have to put stops underneath there. And so again, it's a bar that suggests, well, that suggests tells us it shouldn't go down below that in the short term. And we'll see if this takes out the high today to go higher. Now we look at other markets to see do they look similar or not. And the S&Ps have somewhat of a similar bar. We dipped down and came back up. It's doing nothing here this morning. Uh, we know the weeklies are up into resistance areas. We call this minor resistance, kind of punctured through a little bit, but it's an area. Um, so far this week, other than the dip, not too much going on. Yeah. The Russell, just marking time. It didn't break down yesterday. Not that it was much of a breakdown, but it was gapping down. And, there was the recovery, and this recovery is just going sideways at resistance. Got a sell set up at the declining 20 on the weekly time frame. I said it before, this is equivalent or equal to the 100 on the daily. So this is up against this resistance and the 100 MA. If you put that on your chart, and the Dow here is just marking time like everything else up against the 200 and this resistance area. So takeaway for now, bullish price action at resistance, and expectation is until proven otherwise, it'll go higher. But with sentiment at the extreme that it is, probably best to not get too aggressive, but the stops are going to be relatively tight. What correction bars like that, or someone's going to be a money bar. Yeah, correction bars are money bars, but in addition to that, meaning like, okay, here's one bar, call it whatever you want, right? So I made up the name money bar years ago, which was essentially was a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. As you put it together, it was related to that, meaning it was a wide range bar, an inside bar, and then we had the correction bar. And so the money bar is an igniting bar, and usually happens coming out of a base or out of a consolidation. Whereas the ones we're seeing now, prices have been moving up, since, April here, and they're a little short term extended. They're at resistance. So while I'm calling it a correction bar, because it communicates to us the buying on the dip, and that the anticipation is that it's going to go higher. It's not what I called a money bar years ago, because, as I said, putting it together with a wide range bar, inside bar, and then the bar that breaks the inside bars low, and so on. And there's also would have room to run higher, meaning it's not happening at an area of resistance. It's happening where it's got room to go up. So, in MT Live tomorrow, we'll be talking about checklists. And one of the part of the checklist will be, patterns. And then the following week, which you can sign up for, is going to be correction bars. What charting software am I using? It's called eSignal. I've been using it for a very long time. I know too many people use it. Probably because, I don't know, I think they dropped the ball many years ago. The ICE Exchange owns it, but they never became a brokerage firm as well, like TradeStation. So if they had bought a brokerage firm, I'm sure a lot more people would use it. So, all right, let's look around. So the big deal is interest rates, right? With the debt downgrade of the debt, we had, the big gap up in the 10-year and the 30-year, and they immediately began to fall and markets began to go up. So, again, it was kind of more of a, I guess, complacency, or the market just saying, okay. So they downgraded the US debt. They did it before, they'll do it again. Who cares? I don't know. We'll see. Um, we'll see. So if interest rates start moving up from here, odds are that, I think, just based on the price action yesterday, that markets will come in, but we'll see. If interest rates go up, mortgage rates go up, the cost of borrowing goes up for everybody, including the US government, which it can't afford it. And, so if this starts pushing up, higher, and the 30-year gets up above, back up above 5% and starts pushing up, and you can look at the monthly chart, is up this resistance area up there where it's fallen from. If it breaks above that area there, I think the proverbial shit hits the fan. So yet to be seen what it's going to do. So across the board, lots of things, went down yesterday and came back up, or they gapped down, right? They don't have the 24-hour chart. They gapped down and came back up again, buying on the dip. A lot of things going sideways on the 65-minute chart. Can they break out? So today is about what breaks out above yesterday's high. And as we had discussion yesterday in the green room about different pullback patterns and the probability of taking out prior resistance. So, as we look at patterns and we say, okay, this pattern right here is forming far from the 20, and it gapped up and it's short-term extended, whereas things that are near support and have room to roam up, the same pattern has a higher probability of going higher. That being said, things that have small pullbacks and so close to resistance, let's see if this gets some sideways price action and then breaking out. So as we look at different patterns that look similar, we can look at different parts of what our checklist, which we'll cover tomorrow, as to the probability of taking out that resistance. And we, do our best to pick the highest probability scenarios. Gold is stabilizing down here after taking out the low. It hasn't been able to take out resistance yet. You can see another 65-minute chart. But if it can clear here, right, and if interest rates are going down, odds are it's going to clear here, and there'll be an opportunity, a short-term opportunity in gold because it's correcting. But on a short-term basis, there's an opportunity there. If it can break out, silver's doing a lot of nothing. Right? A couple of weeks ago, was acting like it was going to break out. It couldn't. It's just flip-flopping back and forth. And crude oil, which we check each day, is just flip-flopping back and forth as well at resistance. So there's a lot of wait and see. It chokes me to even say it because I'm so sick of it, this tariff stuff and, the markets and how it's been acting. And, we'll see what they say with that and where it goes. All right. Bitcoin continues to act pretty darn well. There was buying on the dip. It's just consolidating. And it looks like it can go higher. Guess as I scroll that back, it's near all-time highs. And, while it's pretty erratic, you can see the monthly chart and the weekly chart is at this resistance. There's still buying on the dip. And looks like until proven otherwise, it's going to go up. All right, SPX. I'll hand it over to Dan. Well, markets are down a little bit. Yesterday, we were measuring percent corrections if that was in the cards. So for the moment, it's not happening. There was the gap down that was bought as interest rates pulled back, closed near the high. And so, yesterday's low becomes a short-term important reference point. We'll see if it violates that or not. At some point, it's going to, of course. And so gapping down a little bit, still at the top of yesterday's range, so not a big deal. You can see on the 65-minute there, kind of just dead in the water, so to speak, not doing much of anything. And so we look at SPX gapping down a little bit there. And so yesterday I said I don't think it's a no-brainer. And I was really surprised that, these things the strikes, the extremes didn't move further. And so, they were just a little too close, but the buying just stepped in immediately, first thing. So it wasn't such a no-brainer kind of a day yesterday. So where are things this morning? Things aren't moving. So which would lead me to think that the option strikes shouldn't move too much either. But let's see. The extremes. 880. So it comes up a lot. That makes sense after yesterday's price action. So it's kind of an insight into bullishness and bearishness, how much these things move, or the lack of. So that's pretty darn tight. Right? Things are getting tight here, which you don't want tight with these things, because if it hits your strike, the pain is going to be exceptional. I'm looking at the difference here between these two strikes. So this is got decent premium at 6,000. And so you want to be, if markets can move up, you want to be above the whole number. So anytime you can do a credit spread on the other side of a whole number and it's far away, that's going to be much better. So if markets can move up, S&P can move up, you want to be on the other side of 6,000 if at all possible, or we'll get some type of a bearish pattern and reversal. All yours, Dan. Good morning. Just some alerts there. We have fairly light inventory. Still filling. Through alarms. Alarms going off. There was one bull. I've been watching this for a while. Recent IPO. See if it can. I was hoping it would give us a potent reversal here after taking out these lows. And it is gapping up. It's still not ready. It's not potent. But I'm watching this thing. QBTS. Now we have a put spread on this. This was a bull rectangle that we did, rally to resistance. So this would be a great example to put in the, I'll go ahead and send myself a note for the correction bar. QBT, MT live next week. We'll see. It was bullish daily, weekly, monthly, but it was extended at resistance. And so we waited. What today? Tuesday. So we entered this on Friday. So I said just move stop 30-minute low and then Sierra Golf. I had a low alarm go off in this little pop. We bought puts on that. Weekend letter looks great. Part B, we got into right on this gap breakout day. And my up alarm went off at 106, but now it's coming back in. We're just in trail mode, but that's bullish consolidation right there with Bitcoin related FND alarm. Let me just reset it. This was in the weekend letter, and despite the gap down, I left it valid because there was a lot of these patterns where I said, look, they could fail by a little bit and snap right back. And that's exactly what happened yesterday with the gap down. So it still looks great. Just reset the alarm. Oh, actually the alarm. All right, yeah, I already did reset it. It's over 79.90 over Friday's high. Rocket Lab alarm, we're in this, gapped against us yesterday, but it's up alarm. We have long calls. CGC alarm just went off. This is a marijuana stock. I mean, these stocks are tough to trade, but that's a nice 1, 2, 3 closing breakout. I nibbled on it a little yesterday at 162. So let me set a move up alarm here. Okay. LCMG still on the list. This is in the weekend letter. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Hasn't triggered yet. Actually, this would be a good one to show tomorrow in our checklist because it's close to support, has a void. Babay, I posted as long calls over Friday's high. What is that? 384. Another little bottoming pattern, but I like yesterday's gap down. It's another little continuation pattern. Yeah, so that correction bar next, well, our MT lows are great. But tomorrow will be great. Next week, great. And we kind of labeled it something like, every setup is better with a correction bar. So you still trade quality, whatever, throw a correction bar in it, that's better.
All right, those are all my alarms. Let's go up to earnings here. There's not many of them. TCOM 63 and change. That's a call spread idea. No, but yeah, with earnings particularly, you're gonna have to wait 5 minutes and then it'd be 5 minute low, and then anything above 67 would be the checklist I'd be looking at. QFIN is a sloppy buy setup. Got a little breakout failure there at resistance. I don't know, we'll come back to it. EGHT, sloppy bottoming pattern, no interest. Yalla gapping down. Remember I said yesterday this could be a potential on top or a consolidation of resistance. Well, it was earnings, and now we got our end top, but it's gapping too big. Home Depot. That's a big bullish gap. There's a put spread idea if there's any juice, but 389 gapping right over the 200, but there might be juice on a pullback. And I always check the cousin of the major ones. So Lowe's is gapping up here too. Earnings 521. So wow, earnings are tomorrow. That would have been a put spread idea also. Vic, I remember when we bought this on this breakout right here. Had a nice little, and we sold it on this cap up 44, no pattern. Alpha Sierra, America Sports. Is this a sporting goods or clothing store? I don't even know. But this could be a possible short-term exhaustion gap. I don't call it a gap and crap per se because it's gapping from consolidation, but still 30-minute low. We'll come back to it. GDS. Alex mentioned gapping up on earnings. Yeah, bottoming pattern. Yeah, can you believe there was premium? I sold the $16 puts yesterday. $11 away. That's insane. So I'm just gonna let them go out at full profit. All right, EXP. I just had a low alarm go off here. And if it is opening at 229, then a call spread idea, then that would be a big old breakout failure. This is the other one I did. I actually sold the 210s, and I'm sure the spreads are going to be horrible at the open. Pony, it's a buy setup, but remember the rule: buy setups after climb lows far from the 20 have lower odds, so I have no interest. This is another good gap breakout. Let's watch this on a pullback. Trades a little sloppy, overlapping bars, but it's a gap breakout of Slovenian housing stock. There's a bottom pattern, another one to watch. So that's interesting. That's a grinder up 4 cents, no interest, but that's kind of a rising wedge following this breakout bar is strong demand, it's power. Another marijuana stock. Potential bottoming pattern. I have an alarm at 80, 83, 82, 83. CJC we looked at. Papa Kilo. These are just other miscellaneous. So gap breakout, pullback. BDYN breakout. And I like the weekly and monthly on that too. So let's get that on my watch list. These are all just miscellaneous things, but I talked about bottoming pattern, Qualcomm. I say that that's on it. It's bullish gap, bullish consolidation, but you don't have a good void here for a swing. But I still think it has room for $4 or $5. I got an alarm. APP. Oh, we did a put spread yesterday. Crowd. I saw on the news they got this lawsuit with Delta Airlines. Remember they had the outage. The bullish pattern though, it's an ascending triangle on the daily, bull rectangle on the weekly at resistance, but strong pattern. The whole sector, hack has been doing well. I'm gonna get us a call spread or naked call on this one of these days. I think I said yesterday that I would love for this thing to gap up 10-15 bucks. It's gapping up a little, but not 15 like I want for an exhaustion gap. Market's picking up some selling here into the open. Yeah, I just saw that awesome. SYTA coming out of a friggin' coma. Look at these volume spikes. That's a bullish 15-minute chart. So you might be able to day trade this thing off the 15. RMD. I don't know if this was earnings or not, but this was another rising wedge that now bearish gap. That's a call spread idea. Our QBTS we talked about. Yeah, this whole sector has been doing real well. Sierra Gulf. Now it shows it up. ASPI. All right, that was bullish. Now selling off pre-market, no interest. Rig T. This is bullish consolidation. Bullish weekly, monthly, saying we're in this. We're in this. I forgot to mention it earlier. We're in this long stock. We bought it over here somewhere. But that looks great. Let's see what our cost basis is. Wait, rig T. Why is it? Oh, I'm on the wrong sheet. Never mind. All right, we're in this at 1185. So I'm gonna set a break-even alarm. Rig T. $85. How about 12, 20? I mean 1320. BF.B. All right, that Babay is coming in here, middle chart, nothing to do. Our BF.B has been dead money. Hewlett Packard, okay, good. It did get down. Uh, 1650, I have an alarm. Let's tighten the stop, 1722. Yeah, I see a lot of Fed talk today also, yeah. Downgrade. Oh, shoot, Tesla. Um, yeah, shoot. SMCI. We have a put spread. It's doing nothing. All right, Brick T. I'm gonna move stop break even. Just I don't know the market. I don't know. I don't have a high degree of confidence here. We got another bearish gap on the Qs and spiders under the 15-minute support. Let's see. BTS is I said bid 2 cents. It's 5 cent midpoint. See if I get filled at 2. No, midpoint is 5. Yeah, I already closed it out then. Yep. Yep. ARPA buy. PCG. Yeah. Let us see if it can go sideways a couple more days. It's had a big run. All right, our rig team going well. XYF. I mean, not well. I'm at QBTS. XYF get breakout, but that's, I don't like the entry right here. MCI 4138. Midpoint is 38. Ah, so we stopped out of that break even. A driven alarm. Sam, I think that was you. I am not interested in buying right here, but if it closes like this, I'm day by day liking it better. I would sell puts on it, but I wouldn't do a directional myself. Right, driven has no weeklies and the spreads are ludicrous. So good about that. Although I'll send in the tens are 0 by 75. I'll send an order out at 60 for the fun of it. APP, we did a put spread, it's doing nothing. Greg, I'm gonna move stop. Yesterday's low on ARC B. Could be a breakout failure.
Where?
Yesterday's low.
No, where's the breakout failure?
I said possible.
Oh,
If it closes, you know what I'm saying. My low alarm went off and now it's 50% retracement. So we sure as hell don't want it to trade under yesterday's low now. Or then it's a short-term tone. Been in it since a little under 88. Oh, gave up that little morning strength. GDS. I actually like it tomorrow over today's high now. I'll set an alarm 2880. Oh, I know what I can do is for my put, I can buy a fire spray. I can get a free put spray. That's what I will do. I'm short the 16 puts. That's crazy. Oh, they're spready iron. I'm going to try to bid for the 20s. Else? Yeah, I know Elsa bottoming pattern. I remember it. Eli. It's not bad. Not sure what the target would be. You know, I guess I don't like the market, so that's a veto for me for longs. Hey, this little marijuana stock. Wait, is that it? No, wrong one. CKC. Another 1, 2, 3 triggered. I nibbled yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's one I think you're going to need the market on, Thomas. And I don't think we have them right now. Yeah, let's just kill this QBTS. I might just close mine at a nickel. Home Depot gave it up. It's, yeah, yeah, it's a correction bar, sure. Craig might have a special definition of money bar being, really like a 1, 2, 3, 4, but no, it is, according to me. That's actually, that's a good example of a better void. Compare this to Qualcomm. Putting examples together for tomorrow's class. Qualcomm. Well, it does have a void. It's not as much. I'll find a better one. It's CRWV. Oh, let's see. That might be a short-term top now. I what friggin' idiots are buying up there at $92 after it rallied from 40. Wow, the 110s are only 60 cents. Do you remember last Friday I was trying to sell them at $1.75, which was midpoint. It was 150 to $2, and I didn't get filled. So yeah, the premium is really getting sucked out of this thing now. I could get 60 cents now for the 110s is all. I'd definitely do it if it were Thursday, but I'll try next week. There you go. Yeah, we can go out. Yeah, let's go out 10 days. You can get $1.15. In GDS up alarm. Put spread seems juicy on which one, John? One inch. Yeah, a little bottoming pattern, sure. Better. I'd be all over selling $9 quotes, but we don't have them. GDS alarm. It's too sloppy intraday for me and daily. Yeah, I got no interest in them. That's not bad. At least you got a void target gap fill though. So you might get $1 out of it. That is better than some of the others we've been looking at of continuation breakouts. This Illumina, I still have an alarm bottoming pattern. Another one, Sam, I think on your list, another breakout thing, but I don't like the weekly sell so. Real J still looks good if it triggers. I set an earlier alarm 7:57, which is it's the kind of airplane that Sam owns. 7:57. Labs holding well. Let's tighten this stuff to this. Under 25. Yep. No, yeah, that's not down. Currently, I got zero interest in PEP. Yep. No, zero interest. No. Yeah, that's a void. I got an alarm somewhere. Put it at maybe 73.25.